Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third annual Arms Extent Gathering. I'm Chuck, your host for this evening. Wow, we got quite more of a crowd than last year. So we have a few readers this evening. We'll have Dan read first. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome warmly Dan Fyffe.
Okay, this is a virgin poem, never been read before, people. And it's called Tribute to Mike Watt. He said playing his axe was like riding a skateboard, and he called it a thunder broom. And it went wiggity, 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 jiggity, wiggity, boom as he danced across the stage, bouncing like a rubber ball. You knew you could peel off that sweaty flannel and say feel, certain he was smiling behind that big old bushy beard. His voice croaked in short bursts like a creaky gate in a windstorm. Wasn't sure if he was walking the cow or if his homeboys lost, but we all know who he was, a Basemaster General. The descendants told us so when they thanked him and taught us that we may achieve base, chanting the small psalm of all. The Minuteman learned punk rock in Hollywood and pointed his fire hose at the door. I still see him smoking cigars and playing cards with Ed and George in them flannels. Till the day he dies, he'll always be down with the bass. Okay, this is called Under the Influence of Miles Davis. I spoke to you, looked you in the face once, tried to take a nap. I saw you weeping there. I bled on your letter, the stains covered your insides. Tired of being awake, trying to see what happened last night, last week. Eyelids slide over and I make myself blind. You always were a little fool and I always missed you. It was unfair of you to assume that I cared. This isn't radio vision, this is my mind on your floor. Smile your disgusting smile and chew the fat with me for a while. 8:32 in the morning and the silent precipitation lands on the places I'm protected from. Yeah, man, I saw the way you look at me. You know that I'm a thief, so I'd like to let you know that you don't exist. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat-tat-tat, bang, bang, pull the social trigger. Yeah, man, I didn't forget, and I won't forget. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat, and just what did you mean by that? Fruitful. Yeah, man, fruitful, and I'll give you an earful. Before I'm done, you'll be sound asleep. This one actually rhymes, it's frightening. It's called Newt Gingrich Has a Wet Dream. Welcome to our brave new world, the flag old glory now unfurled. Love your country, love it or die. Take your freedom and kiss it goodbye. Don't you dare to criticize, we won't hear your silent cries. Think correctly or not at all, Uncle Sam will silence you all. The secret police knock at my door, it's the death squad here to kill the poor. Come with us, faggot, they will shout when they beat me and drag me out. Welcome to hell, boys, Satan here. We understand that you're all queer. Well, we'll just have to change all that. Welcome to the prison camp. You'll kneel before our giant cross, and you'll be changed at all costs. All of the ends justify the means, even when it costs you your freedom to think. Yes, welcome to our brave new world. The flag old glory is now unfurled. Love your country, love it or die. Take that freedom and kiss it goodbye. And that's all. It's called Reality. I awoke feverish, or stoned, or normal, and swept the memory of the night before into the projection of the eye inside. The child, standing at the edge of the narrow, busy road, leaves blowing around his ankles. What did he breathe? Exhaust or crisp autumn smell? The architect wanting his mommy in the next room, licking his fluid from his hand like a dog licks the kitchen floor. Sleep or rest. The woman hunched over her typewriter, a long-filtered cigarette between sweaty lips. Blue veins crisscrossed her large-knuckled hands like plaid. Smile. Sinister smirk out the window, watching the rain turn soil to mud. Triumphantly, he shouts, "Ha ha," before the automobile knocked the life out from him. Exhaust, I'm certain. No autumn. The architect and the woman woke up alone right before me, he with a sticky hand and she with arthritis. The boy did not wake up at all, and I watched the ceiling stretch further and further away, sliding toward the sky, not stoned but feverish.
And that was Dan Fyffe, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the next poet for this evening is Vovina.
Hi, congratulations, Chuck. This is an old piece, but I don't know, I just feel like it always has to be said again, so here goes. Speak! Stand up, be accountable for who you are and what you have done. Stop living in your fucking happy suburban dreams. I remember the beatings. I remember you with scotch on your breath and your heavy hands around my throat. I remember the neighbors looking out their windows as you chased me down the street. I remember the nights of hiding under the bed and the days of hiding in the closet. I remember the loud, snarling, slurred, drunk yelling that pound, pound, pounding on my head. I remember the loud country music being turned off from the living room below my bedroom, forcing terror through my bones. And do you know how hard it is to feign sleep when you think you may die soon? When your eyelids flutter and your body wants to shake. I remember hearing your body thunk, thunk, thunk as you staggered or crawled up the stairs. And sometimes when you crawled, you were so drunk that I was safe. But I was waiting for you to enter my room, my bed, my cunt-tearing, ripping, bruising flesh that was no longer sacred. I remember going to the hospital because I fell down the stairs. Again, they asked in their pristine white uniforms, looking up at you. Yes! You bellow, intimidating them as you did me. I remember seeing my medical file at age 15 and scrawled across the front in red pen, so deep and so hard that it was engraved. It said, "Noted case history of accidents." Yes, it was his story. And these things, remember when Mom calls me up and puts you on the phone despite my protests. I don't want to talk to you. You yell at me. I will not yell at you. I would never yell at my baby. I would never, ever yell at my baby. Well, I'm not your baby! I'm 25 fucking years old! And I remember. Come on! Give it up! Okay, this one I haven't performed. Last year I went to a psychiatric hospital because I was suicidal. And I wrote this about my experience there. And like we know, most great writers have been to psychiatric hospitals. Thought I'd mention that. If you're interested in that, read Girl Interrupted. It's a great book. Can you see the fresh scars on my body? They're there for you. Can you feel it when I return to childhood in my smallness? And you ask me why I need to go to a psychiatric hospital. You bring me flowers without her knowledge. Am I your incestuous lover? You didn't tell your wife, my mother, that you brought me flowers. What made you think that I wanted to receive your gifts? We both know I'm here partly because of you. Is it a begging of forgiveness? Will you tell me I'm a good girl and wish it all away? The way I spend my days wishing it away, feeling it, repeating my nights feel with your stench and my sweat, and I wake up in remembrance. I wake up in the remembrance of the soul murder you committed, and the scotch is on your breath, and your hands around my throat, and why didn't you just finish it that night and kill me? What made you unwrap your hands from my neck? I was ready for death. And now you stand before me with flowers in your hand, asking me why suicide, and the nurses drag you out. You drop the flowers and shout, I love you. You will always be my baby. I love you. And I watch you go, and I pick up the flowers, and I put them in a small glass in my room. Okay, this one's brand new, so bear with me. I wrote this after seeing a hit-and-run motorcycle accident on the freeway, and I was really messed up. So this is what was going on. Hate is a fucking strong word for me and a damn strong feeling for me to have at home, and I sit wet but hot and drying, hating, hurting my soul. I feel like I wish I could do it. Lose control! Lose control. Just this one time. But I smoke instead. I smoke and burn my thoughts and follow the smokes into the depths of my brain. Breakdown imminent. Breakdown control. Control, contriving, conniving hate. Hate that follows love is the strongest hate of all, but you know that, don't you? Every single one of you in this room has felt that hate. That's deep-rooted, festering, seething, burning hate, hate. Hate, hate, hate that follows love. Nose-breaking hate filled him, and screaming hate fills me, and vengeful, gossiping hate fills her, and quiet hate fills him. What kind of hate fills you? I can look into the eyes of every single one of you and see some hate in some form. Tiny amounts of hate. Up to killing hate, and I have seen killing hate until it has reflected in my own eyes. Modify hate. Modify hate into anger and turn that anger into a drive to stay alive. If you let the hate eat at you, you will only hurt yourself. To see this hate turn inward as an evil, controlling beast, look at it closer. Look at it close enough. Closer. Look at it until the darkness surrounds you, and look at it until you are terrified. This is when your hate is the most powerful. Grab it by the throat and turn it into an energy that fights for you instead of against you. Turn it into the motivation you need to save your sanity in this sick, sick, sick world. Thank you.
And that was the poetry of Vovina. And now, the poetry of Mike Whybark, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beatnik piece, I think.
Chuck pretty much insisted that I had to read this one specific poem. I wrote this about 3 years ago. I was really, really hungover and had been invited to a theme party. The theme was beatniks. And I found someone with a typewriter and banged it out. He loves it, and so I dedicate it to him. It's called Muffin Head, Puffin, Beak. Once upon a hipster's blues night, as the cats bent way down low, a Rudy Toot and Reet Petite come a-sliding through the door. Now Sour Slim told Pickle Jim, I do not dig thy kind. And what it is what it was, and yet before my time. Dropping out and blowing lids, Chianti every day. Be sandaled, be bearded, be berayed. Bebop, don't stop till you are liberated. Madison Ave is not the place for cats like you and me and thee. So smoke your pipe, said Sailor Sam, and then the fun began. That's all I got, thanks.
And that was the poetry of Mike Whybark, beatnik style.
Like all that.
Like a wild man. It's a hard day's night. 8 days a week. And now we have Matt from Black and White Blue Zine. Yes.
Jerry Garcia is dead, but Cobain is alive and well in Cuba with Elvis and Hitler. You see, he was in a car wreck back in '93, and the corporates were pressuring him to gig, so he splits to Sweden to recover and lets his twin brother Burt Cobain take over. Now dig, he likes it in Sweden so much that he stays, and while he's there finds out about Elvis and Hitler down in Cuba from a Cuban junkie exile. Now this junkie exile is a friend of the brother of one of Castro's women. Castro keeps him a secret for straight capital to buy more military hardware. The only thing that's keeping the CIA off his back is the fact that one of Clinton's distant relatives is pregnant with his child. This exile is on the nod one night, real deep, you dig, and tells Cobain about a party he was at with his brother. Now he's talking to the guy, and they're rehashing old family stories and drinking a little too much, and he lets slip that Castro told his sister while they were fucking, because they talk while they fuck. Though when he threatened to have his soldiers give Clinton's distant relative a jungle abortion, and you don't want to know about those. She squealed on the Elvis-Hitler affair. And Clinton told him that he had to send the relative to the States or it would get leaked to the legitimate press. Now Castro never gives up a woman, so he tells Clinton if he wants the Los Drogos to keep the paper tiger afloat, he better forget this relative existed. Now Castro's woman is friends with Clinton's relative, and she finds out from her that Clinton, Stone, told her that Cobain works for the CIA by narking the big H dealers. Now they keep him hooked on a highly pure form of some stuff known as cafalopium, and he's essentially a puppet. But dig, during Cobain's stay in Sweden, he got clean. Now the CIA wasn't hip to that, so they sent some G-men out to look for him. Clinton gets wind of this through the political grapevine and has his own men fly him out to Cuba. Meanwhile, his brother offs himself back in the States and he's become a permanent resident. And this is the insipid somnolence of heredity. The insipid somnolence of heredity leaves us like a dichotomy of incest through supplanted memories of insipid youth. Self-factioning becomes absolutism in a merger of ataraxia and pedantic lust. Orphelia tastes the web of indifference, loquaciously like the discernation of a monk's perturbance. He nonchalantly digs a 20 from her pocket and solipsistically denies her the neuralgia she desires. Like a dementia, their sodden graspings accord to the laws of a sordid paradigm. The structure anorexically implodes in a sordid entropic hermetism.
Now we have the poetry of Matt. Is Matt in the house?
Thanks. Hi, my name is Matt. I'm the Fondue Artist. Hi, congratulations. I write lousy poetry. I've been published in a couplet booklet by Paladin, and I just write poetry for fun. I'm not doing this for voice prints or any other reason. I just like to read. Death, poetry, death, poetry, death. Ended. Didn't like it, but I enjoyed class. But didn't like it. But it shouldn't matter, because butterscotch was good. Like my coffee, but I don't. Enjoy life. My own. Because secrets hurt. Poetry. Lived, loved, love again. Death, bullets, death, rockets. Poetry, love, shotgun racks. Death, the knife they took away. Kid promised me a penny. Air Flight 107. Computer class. But didn't like it.
Matt! All right, let's hear it for Matt. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome warmly the poetry of Patrick McCabe.
The first thing I will do is look at all of you and ask how my voice sounds on this microphone. Okay, good. Glad to hear that, because I'm new to this one right now. And all of your semi-smiling faces, as it were. For those who do not know, my name is Patrick McCabe. That is spelled capital P-A-T-R-I-C-K space capital M-C capital C-A-B-E, pronounced Patrick McCabe. There are other people in town who perform, who use the name Patrick McCabe, because also it is theirs. But I'm not the guitar player for Epiphany who opened for Bob Dylan. I'm the guy who plays with candles and incense and gets himself thrown off of poetry stages. So you know which one it is in this case. Be that as it may, I'm usually an original artist and only do those words which I wrote. But in this case, and in some other cases, I do things by other people. So I'm going to start by quoting from my favorite book, which is called The Dictionary. I enjoy an art called etymology, art or science, depending on how you look at it. Etymology being the study of word origins and derivations. I'm not an etymologist. It takes too much comparative linguistic analysis and philology. I don't have the time to take the classes. But as an amateur, one who does something for the love, not necessarily for the money, I deeply enjoy the study of etymology and spend a lot of time observing the dictionary. In this case, the word reflects directly upon the form. I wrote this in the Blue Moon Tavern, at the Blue Moon Tavern, about the Blue Moon Tavern, for the women of the Blue Moon Tavern, intending to perform this page at the Blue Moon Tavern, which is what I used to do on acoustic music nights because I can't stand the lit scene. So if I want to read a poem, I go do it on acoustic music night and it stands out a lot more instead of doing it in an evening full of other poets. Except they completely canceled their open mic series. As soon as I had this entire series of poems about the Blue Moon, ideally to be performed there, it no longer exists. So what I've been doing is reading poems about the Blue Moon in other places in Seattle where you might never have heard of the Blue Moon Tavern because Seattle is based upon neighborhoods. And people from Capitol Hill generally don't go to the University District. People from the University District generally don't go to Capitol Hill, vice versa, because we are all where we are. As far as getting anyone from the Blue Moon to come here, people from the Blue Moon do not go any place except the Blue Moon. The Carryman door is 18 feet from the east door of the Blue Moon Tavern. It's attached to the same building, but it's too far to go because it's not the Blue Moon. So, be that as it may be, I am first going to read the derivation of Serenade and then give you one. Because I've degenerated, I can't give them the pain anymore, it's just love poems. Because that's where I find shock value. Love poems. They're deadly. You know, it will make people ill if you read too many of them in a row. So, Serenade, S-E-R-E-N-A-D-E, noun singular or verb transitive. Open bracket, French, serenade, from the Italian serenata, S-E-R-E-N-A-T-A, open paren, influenced in meaning by Sera, S-E-R-A, evening, from the Latin, from the feminine form of serus, S-E-R-U-S, meaning late, close paren. From sereno, S-E-R-E-N-O, clear, calm, open paren of weather, close paren. From the Latin serenus, S-E-R-E-N-U-S, more at since or serene. Now you know what I do with my spare time. Now I'm going to do words that I actually wrote down on a page. And I'm going to read each and every word in order until all of the words are done. And probably pronounce my name because it's written down at the end. And thank you and get out of your hair. Because somehow I think I did this once before in my life. A serenade. For the women of the moon. For she of the perfect blue eyes who wishes to become dissolute upon death. For you of the palest gray blue eyes who wishes to gaze upon the universe. For you I will show all the stars in heaven, and we will become pure dissolute as together we gaze upon our universe, and I will find my heaven. For she of the warmest brown eyes, who dreams to remain resolute through life. For you of the gorgeous red-brown eyes who wishes to come fire dancing. For you I will build bonfires of passion, and we will forge pure resolution, as together we come fire dancing, and I will find lost paradise. For the women of the moon, for you of the kind touch and laughing eyes, whom I trust to stay true through lives and deaths. For you of the beautiful laughing eyes, might you wish to receive my serenade. For you, I will always write the truest poems. Alone or together, for you I sing my serenade. And I will show you my earthly, heavenly paradise. For the women of the moon, your search, your thirst for serenade is over. I am now standing here before you. As written by Patrick McCabe, 1995. Thank you and good night.
That was Patrick McCabe. Suffocation by land and sea, scene of light, the hole in the black space. Big head to breathe, olfactive nerves blurred. Pigeon bludgeoned by a snarling cat's paw. An old, quietly aged owl gets it next. Killed bird of prey, pray to what? Pray to be not preyed upon before entering a grave. This is a farewell address that was made about 4.5 years ago in a hospital in Massachusetts where I stayed. Just hang in there and time will talk. Time will tell each and every one of you something within the word recovery. Life is to stay as we move intrepid through its eventful succession